welcome to early installment of Freak Out Friday. Yeah, you're probably not ready for this earlier time. I figured I'd just start a little bit earlier since somebody else was not having their live stream to either, fulfill that void for those who just can't get enough bike content, or anyway, I got stuff going on. I figured I'd share, and I figured it'd be a good day to start a day to, start the new year. Well, this is the second Freak Out for the new year, but hey, this is the first Freak Out Friday that I am now 55. And we're going to talk about that with other things going on, but today's show is actually sponsored by, let's just get the homework out of the way first here. As you heard, the collision, that was not the ones that I'm working on currently, but hey, let's start this off.
Bicycle Wheel Warehouse in California has an excellent selection of wheels to choose from. They're pre-built, or also you can have custom built up to various sizes. You can reach out to them directly if you have something unique like the 650 wheel or a different style hub. Therefore, it makes it an excellent bike wheel set company that actually provides good wheel sets without breaking the bank. You will find them being very trusted and true. They really hold up under a lot of different riding conditions and so forth. It takes the standard old school wheel building practices and puts them in a better format. But in any case, this is a wheel set you'll be really love to have. It'll perform for you for a long period of time, and the quality and the attention to detail is superb. You'll find information about this company in the description below, with also my personal coupon code. I hope you find a good wheel set that works for you.
What? Oh, there I am. Yes, I'm a bike mechanic trying to do YouTube. And this is a live stream starting a little early today. Figured somebody else in the genre of our field of cycling community. And I figured some of you are probably like jonesing for extra bike content. So I'm going to add an hour to my actual show today. Reason being, why not? Right? In any case, hope the BF has a good visit with the vet. Apparently he has taken his pet in, which I have pets too, so understand, as well as a child, as well he has too. In any case, not too much on him, very much more on what I'm doing. And hey, double nickel, thank you. Starting out with another butt for chair 56. Interesting name, kind of classic, clever. Hello, people of the year 2026. Being my age, double nickel, Patrick Washburn. Hey, thank you for joining me. Hopefully I can slide in and help those who just need more bike content. They're missing out on the bike farmer. So in any case, not that I'm trying to take his spot. I usually wait, but I'm already cranking in the garage. So I figured let's throw it up. Instead of listening to him for the next hour, I would now be talking for the next hour. Anyway, plenty of things to talk about going into 2026. And thank you for wishing me a double nickel 55. That is nuts. And those who are of age or older, when you're younger, like in the 70s, you're like, oh man, 2026, that's like Space Odyssey out there. Whoa. I mean, we got some of the gadgets, right? As you're watching me from the smartphone and looking at the computer that had more computer power, or actually the phone had more computer power than the Apollo missions. In any case, here we're at, and we're not going to be talking about all about that stuff. I'm going to be talking about and working on this Team Fuji, and we're going to talk about that. I'm getting to the conclusion of finishing this up, running the cables. Started on the brakes, cables. I'm doing the derailleurs right now, and then we're going to do a wrap and kind of run through and kind of what I've gone through to get to this point on this particular bike, just a show and tell. I did get the latest Bicycle Retailer paperback version yesterday. Haven't had a chance to read through it, so we may flip through that, but honestly, people, I've been busy. It's like one of those things where the New Year's happened and everybody recovered and on the second, everybody decided to have their bikes worked on, which is great. It's awesome. I love it. My community is basically keeping me busy, which is what you really hope for the slow months in my area. So all of those who have been driving work my direction through these slower months, total thumbs up, and thank you so much for entrusting me and working on your bike. So I'm very humbled by that for sure. Should be the humble bike mechanic versus the grumpy one, which you're missing today, by the way. Anyway, there's going to be a few puns about that for the next hour until his show has actually been over, and then I'll just go. Oh, well, no, I'm just going to be me, as I always am. Oh, Carrie Apollo, thank you for the birthday wish. Another but for chairs. Thank you for the birthday wish. It's weird, right? Turning an age, and then you're like, celebrated on like social media. That wasn't a thing 20 years ago, right? So if it was very small. Now it's like you got to spend half your day just responding to people like, hey, thank you. I haven't heard from you in like 2 decades, but hey, cool. Thank you for wishing me your birthday. But I didn't even hear about didn't know what the double nickel was until like 2 days before when my old timer neighbor Craig was walking to the mailbox and I was walking my dog and goes, hey, your birthday is coming up. He's like, yeah, how old are you? I'm like 55. He's like, oh, double nickel. And I'm like, oh my God, this is something. And it turns out it's a thing. Anyway, all those who are watching, thank you for chiming in. It does make this happen. Those who watch Shop Talk Tuesday, I have a similar show, 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, whatever, in Colorado on Tuesdays. So this is kind of just a Friday show to recap the week-ish and what we've been doing and where perspectives of if you're a consumer going into a bike shop on Friday, you got a couple mechanics going, damn. And then the few that are going to be like, oh, I got to work this weekend. But in any case, I do work on weekends, but I keep it more light and polite so I can fit in family time and so forth. That's the nature of how I built up this business, and that's how I enjoy doing it. But anyway. Oh, another year older. Yeah, I remember the 40s. Those were good. 50s. They're good. I'm not going to complain because the alternatives is not that great. But in any case, I'm going to try to figure out how to get a camera angle here where you guys can see me in a vertical stream a little bit better as I'm working on this bike and as I'm talking about it. So we're going to move that over. So if you're watching, I do apologize for the earthquake that you're experiencing. Don't be alarmed. It is just, if I do a further out perspective, how about that? Gives you a little more of a huge shop experience. And I just got really small. I'll have to bring my little training stand card over so I can actually read your comments. So, old man, it's like one of those things you live stream just on your phone. You can't read the comments. Oh, well, I can't because I'm old. And therefore, I have to have my laptop here to be able to keep the conversation going. All right, so time to get busy. Actually, this is great. I love being busy like this because that means I'm getting a little extra cash flow in, which is very, very helpful in the slower months. And that being said, a lot of bike shops in the Northern Hemisphere are going through their panic mode of we need to pretty much discount our tune-ups to get people in the door, which is a great opportunity for those who are looking to get their bikes tuned up and save a little money and have a little better quality professional mechanics work on their bikes. So that's just a little gold nugget. This is the time of year for you to get that done. I saw Trek had a various amount of discounts from, I think, $10 off to whatever. Not to promote Trek corporate stores by any means, but just using them as an example, amongst many others. So also, kind of beware. It's like buyer beware. If it's a discounted tune from a corporate, it's going to be a different tune-up than a discounted tune from an independent bike dealer. Just going to say that out loud. Anyway, that's kind of how it rolls. So right now I'm hooking up the rear cable to the rear derailleur. All new cables and housing. I use stainless steel cables. They just seem to last longer. They're smoother. They're rolled. I use the Jaguar brand. And then I use lined housing that has grease already pre-lined in there from the factory, which gives it added sealant protection and various others. And this chain has been waxed, so that's why it's not going to be totally smooth right at the gate. And I got to break it down a little bit before I can actually use my little chain cleaner tool to wipe off the excess. But it's dialed, it's hitting them. I did a chain alignment on the back rear derailleur too, to make sure the hanger is all ready to go and ready, you know, all that good stuff. All right. Ooh, you guys are being all chatty. That's great. Another 56. Yeah, I've been called old since I was 17. Yeah, looking at 21. Finally, the jerks are right now. I'm old, but I still have a lot of mileage left in me. Yeah, I'm just fine-tuned. I'm just like broken in. And I'm like, put in perspective, I'm in my 30s for about 2 hours of the day. I'm in my 40s about 8 hours of the day. And the rest of the time, I'm definitely in my 50s. So it depends on the hour, when on an hour. And to get me good in the morning. That's why I do these live podcasts in the morning, because this is my 30s me right now. Right around noon, you get your 40s me. And shoot, after I eat lunch, damn, I got to have a nap. That's where you hit the 50s me. So it's all scalable, that kind of thing. So anyway, so yeah, back to the Fuji here. Fuji, you know, as it's named after Mount Fuji. It used to be a Japanese brand back in the day. It's owned by another investment company or something like that that owns Breezer and a couple other SE, BMX, and maybe a couple other brands. And they've always been known to be like the bargain brand. And back in the 90s, we carried Fuji as a line to mirror the Trek, GT, Mongoose, Klein, and Bontrager is the lines, and Schwinn back in the day. But I think we carried up Fuji after Schwinn went under, so we needed to fill a hole of more of a bike line. Felt like we had to have 3 bike lines back then to kind of the trifecta thing, or my dad was using it to, you know, pay off Paul to rip off Peter. He was one of those individuals. He should never have been doing bookkeeping. Rest his soul. He was a great guy, very lovable, but that part of the business could have used a lot more help. In any case, but Fuji still is relevant today. They make some decent bikes and still make a decent price point bike that is not too expensive for those, and they're a really good like a complementary line if you're a bike shop that's carrying other ones. This day and age, though, with all the disruption of the markets and everything and economical craziness, they might be one of the companies, if they have inventory, it's going to work with their dealers a little bit better, because they got to compete against the Trek and the Specialized, that kind of thing. So they may be a win for the shop in your neck of the woods, that kind of deal. But in any case, Roxy 7161 65 15th. Yeah, happy early birthday to you. Yeah, tell me how 65 feels 10 years from now. Woo! Hope it feels close to the same. So just adjusted the front derailleur. This has Ultegra componentry on it, which is a 2x9. If you wanted to upgrade this to a triple, the shifter you don't have to replace, because that's already designed to do a triple. But the front derailleur, crankset, bottom bracket, and the rear derailleur need to be replaced. So the rest of your drivetrain, and also if you do switch that out, you'll need to keep in mind now the cassette and also the chain. You may have to have a different length of a chain. Just to throw that out there as a little gold nugget if you want to convert that to more gears. Well, more gears was a huge thing in the 90s because a lot of road bikes in the early 90s did not have triples. They just had doubles because most of the bike manufacturers were building bikes in areas where it was flat. And finally, a couple brands were like, Well, the demand in the hot market of Colorado, people are like needing and wanting this. And they elude the triple. And they started off using mountain bike componentry for the triple. And then Shimano caught on and went, oh, maybe we should make our own designated triple componentry out of our road line. So it took them a hot minute, but they got there. That kind of thing. Well, I guess since I'm at the front end of the bike now, wrapping bars and prepping it, I can move the camera back so you can actually see what the hell I'm doing. That's if you're watching. A lot of you just have me in the background. And again, I'm starting my podcast a little bit early due to the fact that Bike Farmer was not able to do his today. And I figured all of you out there that are jonesing, can't get enough bike content, decided that needed to, well, I'm trying to fill the void for you. How about that? I'm already rolling and going, so. Oh, yeah. Lawrence, thank you for joining in, and thank you for happy born day. At least I'm not in my birthday suit, and that is something you do not want to see. Oh, he started racing mountain bike at age 55 again. Living the dream. You know, that's a story. I'm sure once you get in that like older class, you share with the group. You racing in an older class, that's where all the retired old racers live. And I remember back in the day, one of the guys in Parker Bikes, he did a lot of racing, and once he aged up to another classification where the former pros basically hide at, he said it sucked because he was at the top of his class, and then when he went and aged up, then he was just getting burned by all these individuals that have basically racing muscle memory, and they just go out there with hardly any training like Gary Fisher and just like smoke everybody. And Gary Fisher is one of those individuals that he'd come to shops and do promos and whatever, and then you ride with the crew, and the crew just gets smoked by this old dude. And then he'd party with him all night. Well, actually, he'd party with him all night long, and then somehow get on his bike and just burn him. I don't know what this guy ate to keep him going, but he's a legend in a lot of different ways. In any case, congratulations to you to do racing. That's awesome. That kind of thing. So I'm pre-taping the brake housing down. Keep in mind when you do that, it may change the pitch of the tension of the brakes. So you want to double check your brakes after you tape that down and also do your wrap. Also the cable construction, you want to make sure you thread it all through so it's not binding when you're turning. The last thing you want to do is turn and your brake hit, and then all of a sudden you're on the ground going, what the hell just happened to me? That kind of thing. All right, so we're at the point, brakes are adjusted, shifting is adjusted. This bike I did, gotta grab some bar tape. This bike, it's early 2000s, 2001 to 2003-ish, somewhere on there. And the gentleman that bought this bike, he bought it used, and he has a collection of bikes. And he's actually building this up as a backup bike for whoever's coming to visit, buddies or whatever. So, got that going on. And he entrusts me with a lot of bikes. So here I am doing, it's like, go ahead and do the whole thing on this one. It's like, okay, stripped it down to the frame. Then I did clean the frame and detailed it. Put 2-3 stacks of ceramic coating on there from lithium. And then all the new cables in the housing. That made the paint pop. I mean, it's clean. I mean, it's you're kind of a boring black, gray, white bike, but it made it look really shiny and clean looking. That kind of thing. Wax the chain and just double check everything. But this bike, he did not like the tires that are on it. So he had another bike he's having me sell on consignment kind of thing. I don't do that as an advertisement, but a few good customers I'll do it for. And he had a K2, which similar components. The K2 had better wheels, so I put the better wheels on this one, the wider tires. Then he wanted wider bars on this, and I did a swap on the bars too. So I was cannibalizing and switching, and then in the same process, getting the K2 Mach 3 ready to go to be be listed. So anyway, the bar tape I'm using, I got off of Amazon. I've wrapped bikes on this before. It's a fabric, and it's not fabric. So the brand is FAB, RIC, that guy. And they have a 1.5 mil and a 3.5. And I decided to try the 3.5 mil gel. And what I like about this, for just recreational riders, everybody has their preference of bar tape. You've been riding a lot. But if you're looking, you don't really have a preference, this has a nice little gel strip built in. And this is the thicker one, so you don't have to do like those inserts. And these particular bars are kind of narrow from Ritchie. They're Ritchie Pro ones. And this, I'm just going to see how comfy this is compared, or maybe I need to stock or suggest those out there for the 1.0 if it's too thick. I figured to give it a try. So I'm just staging my stuff here. Doesn't look like that gives me the little extra little inserts. I like to put the back tap. There's like 4 or 5 different ways to wrap bars. So this is just how I do it. But they give you these little strips for the end, which are pretty much useless because they usually delaminate as soon as you take it off. So what I found, instead of vinyl electric tape, I've found rubber, and I found a skinnier one. I've been using this, and it's making it look a nice clean look at the end. Also, this is when I take my gloves off. This is like, okay, got to have the sense of feel and touch, and I'm at the no longer dirty stage of the tune-up, so that really helps out here. Who's all in here chatting? Oh, Joe Channel, how's your shop coming along? He has his own little YouTube channel, and he's building a shop out of his basement, so if you want to see him build a shop out and maybe get ideas for your own, definitely check it out. Yeah, I'm on early today. I figured I'd slide in the bike farmer space and provide the extra content that everybody jones for bike stuff. And I was already working, so not too hard. I already set everything up for later, so I figured I just would pop it on and see what happens. See who joined us. Here we are. We got quite a few people in. That's great. It's awesome. So what I'm doing is I'm pre-staging my final wrap tape. Therefore, that's a little too long. Didn't need to do that long. So I don't have to juggle with this. You'll see here, if you haven't wrapped bars before, you completely understand. You'll find out here real quick why we do all this prep work beforehand. Because it's kind of like a hot mess if you don't. I'm going to call it more of a traditional wrapper. I'd make a joke that my dad would make a joke, but my wife always rolls her eyes. But I remember the day we were Parker Bikes Day, and someone comes in and is like, "Hey, do you wrap?" And my dad, as he was a jokester, just breaks out in some middle-aged white guy trying to act like he's rapping, like, you know, like that kind of thing. And of course, all of us just rolled our eyes like, oh, dude, serious. In any case, got to have fun with it. So this particular tape has a high ridge where the gel is in the center. So, which is a good part of the tape, of course, because it flares out on both sides. So you want to just overlap. Like the line where you just wrapped, you want to be close to center. I mean, obviously it's going to have to change a little bit when you go all the little curves, but that's where you want to start at. And I do like the little flap on the end here. Some people like a straight edge, use a razor cut. And depending how thick this is, I might have to trim it back to get the plug in there, but we'll see. That's the end result detail. In any case, I hope everybody had a good week. You know, it's the kids are back in school and trying to get back into the work rhythm. And for me, our birthday always lands, you know, January 7th lands right after all the holidays, and everybody's done partying, including myself. I'm like, oh, do I want to do this? So what I did on my birthday is I went for a bike ride, right? Imagine that. It was in the 50s, and it was nice here. So I went on a bike ride. Then we went out to lunch, had a nice lunch with the family. My daughter still wasn't in school yet, so she hung out with us. And then we went bowling. So that was fun. So it was a good day. Got some exercise in, got some good yummy food in. Did the whole family thing over the weekend. That's when they're available. And that's when I had, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'll have my tolerance of dealing with family ready by then. And if your family watching, please don't be insulted. In any case, it's all fun stuff. But, as in, I did this when I was 50. When I turned 50, you know, black 50. When I turned 50, I decided to do a challenge. Work out 50 days straight. After my, you know, starting my birthday. Just kind of kick off the, you know, it's January. It's, you know, that's where you think about trying to get off of the holiday extra, you know, loving. Less the love kind of thing. And did 50 days. So this year, I was like, you know what? We need to do that. Gonna do it. 55 days. 55 days of straight workouts. From riding my bike to doing upper, lower. We go through beach body on demand kind of thing. That seemed to work for us pretty well. And it's not too time consuming. You can do workouts for like 30 minutes or whatever, but at least get you active in the wintertime and you can do it indoors. So, wife and and I said it, and man, my wife's like on it, like reminding me like 3 or 4 times a day. Remember, don't cop out, don't get tired. So, worked out yesterday, did lower, I don't know why I did lower legs after riding my bike, but my legs are killing me. It's like one of those things. Oh boy. But it feels good. It feels good to get back into a normal, you know, it's like a kickstart of a workout routine. And you'd think bike mechanics are avid cyclists. Not a lot of us are avid cyclists. We like to ride bikes, obviously, because, you know, we work on them. But, oh, that boogered up. But we, you know, our passion a lot of times is we love working on them. Kind of thing. So the gel on this tape is kind of nice because it acts as a sticky gel without having that sticky mess to go with it. That kind of thing. So when I do my finishing tape, I start at the bottom so there's no ridge line on the top. And I pull it so it stretches. Not too stretchy, but stretch enough. And the next lap is less stretch. So what you're doing is you're keeping it very even and clean as you do less and less. And when you do pull it, it does seep over the edge. It gives you that clean line. So that's a 90s, 70s, or 80s, 90s trick of wrapping bars. It's probably earlier than that, but. And then when I get to the finished part, you get 3 to 5 wraps, all depends. And then again at the end, I like to finish it at the bottom so you don't see the overlap. And I do a V pattern. It just seems to not come apart, or it doesn't leave a little catchy thing. When you put your hand around the bar, you can't really feel it. So there we go. That's the, put the hood back down. Now that's kind of nice. 3.5. I mean, it's bulkier. Don't get me wrong, but it is pretty nice. That's a nice So on the end caps here, you always want to be mindful of the logoing and make sure the logoing is correct, vertical, as you insert these. That way, it looks professional. just professional. Professional touches, you know, those kinds of things. So if you're a bike mechanic, you get your bike back from your bike mechanic and the decals are upside down. They're not attention to detail. Let's put it that way. All right. Oh, crunch of paper. All right. Check chat here. Oh, yeah, Lawrence. Yeah, going back to his, going to respond to your turning 55 and doing mountain bike racing, cross-country racing. That's what XC is, cross-country. And NTB is mountain bike racing. If people don't know the whatever. Some people don't. They're like, what's that mean? Just to keep it out there. Yeah, wrapping bars is an art. That is very true. It's been one of those things that it took me a while to get there, but once I get there, now, you know, I wrap, you know, when I was doing a lot of repairs and so forth, I ended up wrapping like 5 or 6 times a week. So you get it down pretty good. It's all practice. And different tape all has different experiences. So not all bar tape is alike for installation. So be mindful of that. Yeah, back to your, oh, Joe. Yeah, I'm on, yeah, Arlie, young fellow. Yeah. Well, that's a funny thing, going to Joe's comment of being starting earlier, being younger. Well, I grew up, speaking of the farmer, I grew up on a farm. Part of my childhood, I was on a farm. My grandparents had a farm in Brush, Colorado. And so I worked that farm with my grandfather for a couple seasons. And that destroyed my sleeping for the rest of my life, because you get up irrigating crops. That's what really did it, because you get up in the middle of the night several times, and you get up at 5 and you cycle the water and all that. It's like a round the clock thing from when you need to start irrigating in late spring to August or September, when you need to stop and let it dry out. And once in a while you'll get a rainstorm that's good enough to give you enough moisture to take a break, but you don't get a break until then. So it's constant. So there I messed up my sleeping. So I'm a morning person more anything. So if I wake up just briefly between 4 and 5, I'm up. It's done. Regardless of what time I went to bed. So for me to go to sleep, for me to sleep in, I have to go to bed early. Weird. But yeah. So I'm usually, for doing the bike stuff, I'm usually checking emails between 5 and 6 in the morning, doing things. I'm already technically working, so, you know, that kind of thing. This time of year, when it gets a little bit colder, I have to let the garage warm up a little bit, so I work in the garage a little bit later. And then again, when you get older, it's shorter blocks of time. Get worn out, that kind of thing. But yeah. Oh yeah, back to Lawrence's bike racing, 55 plus, the bigger class of racers. Well, I'm sure it's still a lot of fun, but I mean, I'm sure you got some super talent, like crazy former steroid talent, drug doping talent in there with muscle memory for days. All righty. Okay. Oh, Rob, thank you for joining. 3036. Keep living, keep riding, keep being all you can be. Or as the source fellow soldiers said back in the day. I'm being all they let me to be. Nice. Nice. Good quotes there. Oh, soldier instead of sour. Yeah, I think we figured it out. Yeah, boy. So yeah, it's so that's one side of the bar tape. It looks really clean. And now we're going to proceed on the other side. I'm going to move my table here so I don't butt my coffee and spill it. Yeah, so super grippy, absorbing, gnarl gravel tape. It's not gnarly, but it's gnarl. I find some of these things that are made overseas, it's kind of funny. Like I came across a bike manual, and obviously the graphics got cut off, but it missed like the L of manual. So it's like, okay, attention to detail in the manual. That's really going to be a good read. Just to say, that kind of thing. Okay, we got our finishing tape, got our scissors. Yeah. So yeah, this is a backup bike, and I don't see very many of his backup bikes because they don't get used too terribly much. Enough. And sometimes they need a little bit of work. It's mostly when they need adjustments. Like the other one, we'll probably have time to share because I'll finish this one up, go on to the next. He has 3 bikes in right now. This is the big one. This has the big tune-up. Other ones are bar tape on one with the Redshift wings, and the other one has, I forgot to cut the thing on this one. Oh, is there enough on this? Extra bit? This is where it gets tricky. Yep. So this is the trouble right here. If you have to do something other than, if I let go of this, I mean, you can use like spanner tools. You can slide that in there as a trick, but they're way over there. I don't typically use them. Don't have anything close by to hold the tape in place. So if you forget or have to do something, you either have to let it go and start over, or have the death grip like I have right now on there. So hold it in place. Some tape will hold or stick and stay, but you are applying tension on this as you're wrapping it, and it unravels if you don't do it correctly. And I don't pull all the sticky stuff or this has, I'd say it's tacky rubber back, but if you have tape that has sticky stuff, you don't want to unravel all the tape or the covering off completely, because when it hits the floor, it might pick up extra gunk, and you don't want that gunk in your bar tape. And keep mindful, if you do a lot of indoor training, your sweat still seeps in underneath, and you'll probably seen videos of bike mechanics taking the bar tape off, and there's like that white corrosion, and sometimes even the bar has failed and cracked and broke. I mean, sweat is super aggressive and corrosion perspective. So nasty stuff, nasty stuff. Trying to get it all lined up right so it's all purty. Because, I mean, when you're riding a lot, I mean, you're supposed to be looking at the road, but sometimes you're just looking down. And you want this to be the visual cockpit. You want it to be perfect, because you don't want them to be sitting there riding their bike going, that's not quite right. There's plenty of other things that may not be quite right, but, you don't want to be obvious. So I'll line this up on the back side so the pokey part rolls over to the bottom. Try to get my spacing. Some mechanics will count how many wraps they've done around as a professional touch. I saw that, I'm like, oh, I should do that. And I started counting, and I was like, oh, I already do that inherently, so it's already a baked-in process. And I figure it's one less thing I need to like do while I'm trying to do this. Although that's a higher level of professionalism too. So those really high-end bikes, boy, you better count your wraps, making sure they're the same number. As long as it feels good, you should be looking at the road, not be so concerned. All you want to do is make sure it doesn't unravel on them, you know? And if you do a tight enough job, it does have that, I mean, I guess a water barrier-ish to it. But, yeah, that looks clean. Look at that. Super clean. In any case, wrapping's are art. Some people get it. Some people don't want to do it. It's fine. That's why we're here. That's why we do a lot of this stuff. I'm the same way. I mean, I could plumb, but I don't do plumbing. I'll do minor stuff in emergency if need be. Look how clean that is. That turned out really nice. These particular ones are a threaded style wedge, which is nice. Keeps them from falling out instead of the press fit. Trick is trying to get that folded over so it looks good evenly. And then you worry about the alignment. Sometimes there's no logos, but this one does. Attention to detail. Tighten that up. Some people do mirrors and whatever accessories on that, so that looks pretty clean. A little bit of bulge at the end here, but that's just so much material. Other than that, not too bad. And on the distance on the stem to the tape, you want it to be equal on both sides. And if you have a lot of accessories, you open this up area to have more accessories. Like if you're going to put computers and whatever. I usually do it at the taper of the bar, especially on the flared out bars like this, the 31/8, where it becomes a little more even feel or look to it. It's just aesthetic looking of that. If you do have a logo tape that comes from the package, you can put this on top. I still highly recommend doing the electrical tape or rubber tape underneath. So if this falls off or delaminates, as a lot of them do, I don't even use them, but it will keep it from unraveling completely, that kind of thing. So that's the front end. These guys are missing its caps. And he wanted, a few years back, I had some 3D printed just for the bikes I'm servicing kind of feel. But I have to go dig around and find some screws, the micro screws, to go with those. I have to steal off of a couple dead shifters, which I'll have to do some digging for. So I'll do that later. Oh, I froze. Oh, there I didn't freeze. All right, hopefully everybody can still see me, or I'm just like talking to myself, which I've done before. Like, oh, wow, the stream stopped for some reason. Oh, damn, I'm just talking to myself. Wow. Yeah, I'm all kinds of special. All right, let's take a look at some of the chats here. Catch up on that. All right, you guys are jibber-jabbering amongst yourselves. Awesome. It is a community. And by the way, thank you for hanging out with me here in the garage at my shop. If you're just watching this for the first time, I've been in the industry for 35 years. It's boiled down to I have my garage in my own home, two-car garage bump out, and that's where you're seeing the bump out is behind me. And I started during a little bit before COVID, a little refurbishing side hustle, and became a whole business. So that alludes today. Fast forward, I have my own business. I do tune-ups, repairs, sell used parts, bikes, frames, and so forth, and all those good things. And then through that journey, I started YouTube, and that's why you're seeing me today. And I've been developing a community from that, very similar to a lot of other influencers out there. And you know, as a note, either if you're an avid cyclist or a bike mechanic or a bike shop owner or whoever within the cycling community, there's always so much more room in the cycling arena where people there's not enough content that can be made. There's always more. So, and you'll find what niche works for you and your personality and that kind of thing, which I did the same kind of journey. Some of my technical stuff is good and some of my, it varies. And so I implore, and age, being age of 55, I started this when I was 50. So you can never too late to do it, right? So get out there, record some stuff, share your adventures, share your technical stuff, whatever that may be. It is, it is a pretty big area. And a lot of people can't get enough content, and it's actually pretty big to a point where some of the bigger influencers out there in social media, I think Byrne has like over 200 something, or is he in the million bracket? There's a handful of influencers out there. They're in the million subscriber counts. The Bike Farmer, for example, he basically blew up the same time I did, just a month ahead of me. And he's over 100,000 subs now. So, I mean, I haven't gotten there. I don't know why. Maybe the algorithm doesn't like me, or maybe I don't resonate with that many people, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I'm very successful for what it is, so I'm good. It's all great. And that, to just say, shout out, all those out there can just jump right in and do something like this and have fun with it. It's all about cycling is supposed to be fun, and share the funness of it, and as much as you can. Anyway, I do the news articles too, which is kind of last year been kind of daunting, but it still needs to be informative and still needs to be talked about as opinion pieces for sure. Oh, am I freaking out about my age? When are we all? Time is ticking, man. If you're referring to age there, Rob, yeah, freaking out. And trying to take the freak out of Friday on Bike Shop Life. Because a lot of people have events on the weekends and they need their bikes by that time. And man, you getting yourself in a pickle where you not have something done. It's a rough day for everyone. All right. Chinchilla cork was my favorite. Oh, yeah, chinchilla is really good stuff. Definitely. Age. Do you know what is good about getting older? It's better than not. Getting older. Exactly. Good one, Joe. Absolutely. Well, I mean, on a side note and sad note, my dad passed away when he was 55. And granted, he's my adopted father, not just a stepfather. He's an adopted father, and very strong influence. And he's the one that opened the shop and everything. And he passed away at 55. And even though I don't have any genetic makeup that would, worry me of that perspective of it, but on the flip side, it's still in your head, right? So my main goal for 2026 is not dying. So, yeah, it's a dark way of looking at it, but still, you got that in the back of your head, and you're like, okay, I need to do things to be a little bit healthier. So I'm working out 55 days in a row. Oh yeah, on the back end of that 55 days, on the next warm enough, nice day here, which we probably will, it'll be in February, but hopefully it'll be a nice enough day I'll be able to do a 55-mile ride. So I want to be able to ride my age. That's inspired by Kirk Globe himself, which he rode 72 miles this year. And he did that in August, I believe. And that's following having a heart attack in March. So this guy, very committed and doing really well. So that perspective. All right, so I'm ready to cut cables. I think I need to change my camera position again so you guys at least kind of see what I'm doing. So me just walking out of the frame constantly. So that probably gives a little bit better. Cable ends. Yeah, I still use the traditional crimped cable ends. Let's see what flavor. I like colors. Just add a little style. As my dad says, if you're going to do it right, and also do it with some style. So here we are. If it doesn't match or it doesn't match on, I go with gold as a signature color. I don't know why, just because, I don't know, gold doesn't match anything else, but it does stick out, I guess. I don't know. I'm weird. You do weird things sometimes as a pro mechanic doing things. Yeah. When I say pro, not professional race circuit pro, just been a professional mechanic for a long time. So on the brakes, I like to do it right about the end of the stop of the brake, or the, not stop, but brake pad. Always give a couple inches on these, just in case if you need to relace it. And on the front derailleur on these, I like to do longer enough to loop it down back over on itself and zip tie it to the cable going into the derailleur. That way it tucks away that dingle, so it's not hitting your foot or the rider's foot. And then you have plenty of cable left if you need to do any adjustments, and it doesn't fray, or it doesn't have a less chance of fraying. So kind of a added bonus on that. That's the only one I do longer. All the other ones are about 2.5 inches. You know, long enough to be able to reuse, short enough doesn't stick out and ping anything. So that's what I do with my cable ends. So yeah, back to Fuji. Good line, bargain line. Been around for, I think, 1890, I think it was. They used to advertise it on their, oh, they still do, yeah, 1899. Well, at least on this one. I don't know if they do on the other ones. So the brand's been around that long. The owning of the company hasn't. The company that owns them now, or is more of an investment style branding company. But in any case, brand being around since 1899, that was pretty good. So when we picked up Fuji back in the day, it was kind of funny because bike reps back in the day, in the 80s and the 90s, some of them did not look like cyclists whatsoever, or part of the cycling scenario. And this guy, he was interesting. His name, I think his name was, I remember it was Bernie. Fuji rep Bernie, Denver metro area in the 90s. Anybody who was in the cycling industry at that time, you know who I am talking about. Bernie was kind of looked like a slight mobster, like Joe Pesci style, and he had gold chains on. My dad would always say it's like Mr. T starter kit. Just a joke. And man, and you know, he hounded my dad to pick up Fuji for, like, he'd always come in a couple times a year, and my dad was very personable, so he'd just talk and talk. And then we finally got to the point, it's like, okay, yeah, we'll bring on Fuji. Try it out. And it worked out. The line worked out great. And, you know, Bernie was interesting. It's like, oh, you can just buy the bikes. We'll take care of the dating later, like the invoicing and dating, like, don't worry about it. Like, they somehow had a little process of, like, you can extend that dating for a long time. So, because they had to compete against the Trek and the Specialized at the time, and all the other I wouldn't say sub, but B lines like Jameis and various others are trying to be aggressive with the market. And there you go. It's, you know, it's one of those things. All right, so this is how I get that wax chain to shed its excess. This is a completely dry chain cleaner, hand one, which we all in the industry know doesn't do anything except for make your chain more dirty. So this is a great use of this, and when you use it, you know, pedaling backwards, it's taking out the excess wax. This is a wax chain, by the way, hot wax from Silca. And or the wax is from Silca, but process is from me. And it's a SRAM chain. And all of a sudden you'll feel the stiffness tug just loosen up and get cleaner. And what that it helps is the chain to get more mobile, because basically when you wax a chain, you're making one huge stiff link. By doing this, it makes it a lot smoother. It still takes about 5 to 10 miles for it to completely get smooth. But this gets it to a point where it shifts really good. It goes where it's supposed to go. And if you pedal backwards, it's not binding up. So that's where you want to get it at. Safety, safety, safety. So it is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and it's just going to get better after about 5 to 10 miles ride or two, for sure. So that's the Fuji team. Aluminum frame, 7000 series aluminum, carbon back, carbon fork. A lot of these usually came with like Ritchie componentry groups with Shimano. Also, they were trying to beat the market by, like, a lot of brands would start mix matching. Like, they'd have an Ultegra derailleur and a step down front derailleur, step down shifters, and there's 2 steps down on the brake, or even a knockoff brake. Granted, this one still has the FSA crankset, which is pretty decent, but it is not the Shimano double with a Holotech 2. So they did cheap out on the crank, but the rest of the bits is all Ultegra Shimano. So you got almost a complete kit, that kind of thing. And you know, the FSAs are okay. They're just a little bit heavier versus but if you got a used bike like this, you can find a crankset for a double Ultegra that'll match this. It'd be a FC-6500 or 6510 if we want to do the triple, and get a bottom bracket that accommodates that. And then you can match it, make it all matchy-matchy if you want to do that. And the pricing on that is usually, you can get them for like 50 to 100 bucks. So in the used market on eBay. So it's not too bad. All right. '51, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Happy birthday. Thank you. Oh, yeah. In the cycling realm, thank you, and being part of the community, too. Let's see. I know I'm behind the stand here. Hi. Going to move the camera back, but I want to move the bike first. Well, yeah, something like that. And wireless electronic shifters and derailleurs. Your thoughts? I love mechanical because there's a lot of benefits to the older mechanical style. But unfortunately, that's the direction the direction the industry is going. But if you can get a decent set of cable actuated shifting and so forth, there's, you know, some people have a version of not wanting to deal with batteries and having things charged, sure, but the charges on those usually last a pretty long time. That's usually not a sore point. The first Di2s were pretty decent, but they still had cables. That's where the SRAM wireless with individual battery packets for the shifters and the derailleurs was great, because it really gets rid of all the cables for everything, unless you're going to do the little blips up on the bars, but that's only on the bar part. So that's good. But with the SRAM, though, if they're doing disc, which is only disc they have on those, they use dot fluid versus mineral oil for the fluid for the brake systems. Well, the dot fluid is not great material to use because it tears up and eats away at the internals, and they've had issues with it, and it becomes more problematic for a mechanic, because once that's done, it's done, and all of a sudden you have a dead toast shifter kind of thing, or at least the older stuff where they're not giving the parts for rebuild kits anymore. So it adds another layer. It adds a potential mechanical layer of complicity of maintenance down the road. As a new, you're not going to really know the difference for a few years into it, so it's going to be fine. And if you rotate bikes every 5 years, you're not going to have that problem. It's going to be the next person. But for now, Di2 and the Shimano, they are switching over to the battery pack system. Somehow they got around the copyright or whatever and start doing it themselves. And those newer generations are going to be pretty good. For mountain biking, it's sweet, it's cool, works well, but if you wipe your bike out and you take out your $500 derailleur, that's an expensive hit. So, yeah, that's one thing of looking at it. For electronic shifting for road, it makes the bike look cleaner, more aero looking if you're looking for that kind of thing. And it's just a whole different layer of mechanical bits. I'm not totally against them and I'm not totally for them. I'm in the middle of the road. I'm a traditionalist. I like to, even though if I bought a new frame, custom built, I would have either cable mounts designed so I can actually route cables if we wanted to down the road, or start off that way and then go into the electronic shifting later. Some companies like Fairlight have that option as a frame, so you can do those kinds of things. But when you're looking at that last bike I worked on, which was a number 22 titanium, there's no place for any mounts for shifting and so forth. So it's electronic shifting or nothing on that particular frame. So we're, if you went new and you like new stuff and you can afford it, you're just going to have to deal with it. Especially in the upper end stuff, or have custom stuff built and use older componentry. If you're a classic, for me, this is a 25-year-old bike almost, or 20 at least, and it's tuned up, and it's just, it'll ride like new because all the cables and housing and stuff that's been replaced and tuned up on it. Actually, it'll probably be better performance than it was new. And this particular bike, amongst a lot of the older bikes, and especially the road and the cross gravel genre, older bikes are pretty much all you really need. So it's for the 95% of us cyclists, what does it need to do? Number one, it just needs to fit you correctly. And number two, it needs to shift smoothly and have the gear range to do your environment. And number three, it needs to stop. That's pretty much it. Everything else is fluff. So if it does those three things and it puts a smile on your face, yeah, that's the fourth thing. The fourth and most important thing, well, fit is first and most important thing. The second would be if it puts a smile on your face and it makes you want to do more riding, that's a win. That's what it did. I know that's a long answer to a short question. John, thank you for joining in. Oh, we're finally at the top of the hour, 10. I did start this live stream early at 9 my time versus 10. Reason being is I noticed, not that I'll do this every time, but I noticed the bike farmer wasn't doing his video, and I know all of you out there just can't get enough bike content, so I figured I'd extend mine today to accommodate that everybody's addiction to watching cycling content on YouTube and possibly Facebook if you're watching me from there. But yeah, if you like this content, please like and subscribe, that kind of thing. And that helps, keeps me motivated, seeing the likes, of course. It's interaction. It's like, hey, you like the stuff. And, also share these too if you want. This is a podcast style, so it's nothing really too scripted. Sometimes it is, but today, not scripted hardly at all. Just talking about being older and reflection of working on bikes and having to get some bikes done today because these are being picked up this afternoon. So I have to do my due diligence to make sure that gets done. Not that they're in any rush, but I had in the last 3 days, 3 more bikes come in on top for scheduled service. So I need to get these 3 out because, again, I'm in a garage and you're seeing a corner of it and I am limited on space. And that's including the space for the bikes that I bought to refurbish or to sell for parts. So I got a twofer going on right now. And yes, some of the bikes do bleed off into the basement. So that's my backup storage. And the wife doesn't like that too much. So, but there we're at. Okay, I think this thing is dialed. Not super pleased on the front. Let's make sure we get this dialed in. There we go. I want to make sure the limit screws are not rubbing. A little bit of cable adjustment. And I always try to keep the barrel adjusters have enough room for adjustments. Because the housing, I try to pre-compress it as much as possible. so you don't get a out of adjustment, but it happens regardless. How much you try, it's still going to happen, that kind of thing. All righty. So yes, it's Freak Out Friday. Here we are. Thank you for joining and being part of the community of watching me today tinkering on bikes, because it's just amazing for me to believe or think that I have a strong enough service community that they're individuals that have several bikes for the most part, but they're like to keep me busy in the off season. The one that owns this one here, he specifically, like, if you ever get shy on work in January, February, let me know, and he'll float more repairs my direction, which is awesome. I mean, that's, one of those things. He wants to make sure that I'm healthy as well as keeping his bikes healthy. So it's a give and take. It's part of the community feel. And I have several customers like that, and I just feel very fortunate. And very fortunate they entrust me to work on their stuff and everything, and being part of all of that. So it's great. I love it. And it's very crazy to think doing this, and I have people driving hour and a half to have me work on their bikes, because they either saw me on YouTube or somewhere, or they've got referred by a friend, what have you, and they are. It's very it's kind of crazy. I would not have thought that would be a thing that could be, and here I am. Here I am. All right, I got to go find the next victim. All right. Let's see here. Answer a couple questions. Gary, thank you for reaching out. Happy birthday to me. Yeah. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Oh, appreciate. I mean, if you're watching, that's great. Thank you. It makes me feel good. Plus, being a bike mechanic in his garage by himself all the time, this relieves the conversational stress off my wife. So she doesn't have to hear me talk about bike stuff all the time. I can shut it off. Talk about other stuff. 65, Bugnut, thank you for the happy and good morning to you. And GPAS 7144, good morning to you too. Grandpas. Yeah, I'm not a grandpa yet. I hope my son better take his time. Oh yeah, you're welcome. 51 of my insights of. Also on the didn't mention on electronic shifting. It's been a godsend for aero bikes for triathlons. Just going to say that out loud. Maybe worked on a triathlon bike and their cable routing. You're talking about pain upon very large amounts of pain. All right, here's the second sponsor. We're going to launch him. Bill from Vital Bike Chains. If you're watching, this is out to you. A shout out. He does wax chains he waxes new chains, and he has chains in stock that are already pre-waxed, ready to go. So if you're looking at getting into wax chains, this is the way to start it without having a hot mess yourself.
For popular chain process or waxing of Vital Bike Chains provides brand names like Shimano, SRAM, and various others to be cleaned in high detailed 5-step process and then waxed to your professional level with either speed chip or endurance chip, which has been proven to have better performance and better lasting events and recreational riding. Takes care of the messy process, and all you have is the clean wax chain ready to perform. Check them out. Discount code with a link below.
All right. Oh, it reminds me, I have my chain waxer warm. Make sure I'm not burning any wax, because I'm going to be re-waxing this guy's chain. He already had it waxed before. He's one of those individuals that's fallen much in love with the wax chain, And the people that just dropped off their bikes is a Rivendell and also a Waterford. Some cool classic bikes coming up in my channel, either short videos or just highlighted or watching me work on it, that kind of thing. So we'll start off with the chain. He didn't say anything about doing the chain, but since he's here, do two things. One, chain check it, make sure it's not stretched out. And then if it is, they're gonna have to tell me I have to buy a $100 chain. Yeah. And the newer chain checker that I bought is the Park Tools CC 4.2. Reason being, it doesn't have any moving parts, as Bill would say that he likes that Vital Bike chains. But it's also designed to be able to do the flat top chains from SRAM, where the old school one, like this little guy, the CC2, it's a shorter reach, so it gets you less of an accurate reading. And with these guys, you want to hit a couple different locations. He's getting close to, 175 on that. Let me double check that. He might be getting a new chain. Unst to him, he might be getting a new chain. Oh, yeah. That is going through, because if it goes through the whole tooth thing here, because the deal is, if you get too long, and stretch is a industry term, that's not actually what's happening. What's happening is the internal rollers are compressing, and then it opens up the gap between the rollers on the inside plates, and if that gets longer, it'll compromise your cassette teeth and develop shark teeth also, as well as your chain ring. So it's best to replace those at 0.5 to 0.75 extent elongation. Therefore, you can probably get 2 or 3 chains before you have to replace any other of your drivetrain piece. Hey Bill, Vital Bike Chains, thanks for joining the chat. Happy Friday to you. And of course. Yeah, he has a coupon discount code, so if you want to try out the pre-wax chains, and they're not, I mean, the prices that he has to tell you on these chains that he has for sale, the markup on them is cheaper than if you were going to do time-wise, just the time for you to do it yourself. It's cheaper to go that route because there is a time element to it of cleaning the new chain. And since he has a system so much more efficient, and it's like, it's like a volume thing where is able to accommodate that. But in any case, it's a, you actually are winning money-wise, time-wise, if you just buy a chain that's pre-waxed. And there's some other ones out there, but what I found with other chains that are pre-waxed is interesting. There's the ConneX has a pre-wax one, and it doesn't seem like it has a thick coating. Like it's like really shedded off kind of thing. And there eludes. I'm trying to figure out, is it a 10 speed or 11 speed? I think it's 11 speed, isn't it? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah. EB 11 speed. Yeah, I got to count. Oh well. I have one, but it's not wax, so I do the ConneX chains, which is good stuff, but the more popular brands is SRAM and Shimano. So, but what this one's really in for is, I call it has wings, for lack of better words. It's this stuff here. And while you're looking at that, I'm going to sneakily move you back over here because it's more of a bar end thing. A bar end or bars? Doing bars. Okay, hopefully you can see me okay. There we go, yeah. So he has this on a couple of his bikes. It's kind of fun stuff. What it is kind of like a bar end part that goes underneath here. It gives you an extra. He likes to sit in the drop sometimes, so he wants these guys to go here, which gives you an extra little more grip. And then more flats like the profile carbon bars, but we're going to put these guys on, which are like wings. And these are long enough. I don't think I'm going to need to have to cut them, but they have different cut marks so you can shorten them up. This is the whole process. Got tear-proof tape. You got some sticky back. And once you adhesive put it on there, it has to stay on there and rewrapped for like, they suggest 24 hours before you ride on it, so it doesn't shift, being Redshift. So this is the big project was that Fuji team. Now we're going to do, this is like, I want those up on these. I'm like, okay, cool. We can do that, that kind of thing. But in the interim, I got to turn off my heater because I'm going to be turning on my ultrasonic cleaner and I don't want to pop my breaker. And this one hasn't been pre-waxed, so gonna have to do it. He's going to get it regardless if he wants it or not. No. He's one of those the customers that entrusts me to just, oh, if it needs it, do it. It's fine. May not like it, but I'll appreciate it because it needed to be done. So how my process is, I guess you get to see me wax some chains or wax a chain. So I put chain in a jar concentrated with a simple green, run it for 4-minute cycle, another time 4-minute cycle, well, one time with a 4-minute cycle, rinse it out. Then I put rubbing alcohol, put that in there for 4 to 8 minutes, depending if the stickiness goes away, and then it's ready to be waxed after it dries. So gonna probably disappear here in a second so I can turn on my ultrasonic cleaner. But that is kind of like the cleaning process that I've landed on. There's several different ones out there. You don't have to have an ultrasonic cleaner to do this. You can use a jar with a couple different cleaning solutions to take on that job. But buying the pre-wax chain will save you frustration, heartache. Because if you over clean it, just a heads up, if you over clean them, you can clean too much off and cause it to rust. And then you just took that brand new chain and rusted. I did that mistake on a brand new ultrasonic cleaner, knowing that it was that much more stronger, and basically destroyed $150 worth of chains in a matter of 10 minutes. So I'll be mindful on that. What's nice about having an ultrasonic cleaner, though, you can multitask. Basically, you throw it in your ultrasonic cleaner. Since it's not up to temperature, I'll probably do 8 minutes on it. Hopefully the background sound is not too terrible since I walk away. But then I'll proceed on working on this guy. He likes his tape, so I'm going to see if I can save it. Hopefully I can save it. And I'm going to have to get the razor blade out on this one. So I hope everybody's having a good, or I hope everybody has fun plans. That it's not like so holiday centric. You know what I mean? Also, a fun note on this stuff is they sell extra long bar tape, Redshift, for doing the wings, but if you're doing the bar end covers on the end, that takes up all that bar tape length, so you don't need the extra long bar tape. They kind of imply that you do, but save you a little bit of money. You don't need to do both. Or if you want to, it's fine. If it needs to be replaced, probably suggest it anyway. But that's what we're looking at. Okay, so most often than not, you can't save the bar tape. depending on the brand, and if it has a really sticky back, it's going to tear. Even if it doesn't, it may still tear. This has like a light gel to it, like the brand I just put on the other bike. And to be able to get it to detach itself without tearing the tape underneath, you tug it, give it a good good pull. What I'm doing is kind of at an angle, delaminating itself or adhering itself to the tape on the back side or underneath. Because on the inside here, if you can see, if you're watching, that's the part that's going to get eaten up, pulled apart. So if you pull that tug, it takes that sticky stuff and shifts it to the side and kind of loosens it before you pull it straight up. Because when you pull it straight up, it's going to tear more often than not. So far, I'm lucky. And you said you're going to reuse it. He's not being cheap. He has tape at home. He just forgot. And this particular one has to be taped. I can't do it while I could do it while he waits, but it's going to be a while because you tape it first, then you put those bar ends after on the ending process of it. Then you got to measure too. Measuring. Okay. All right. So this was wrapped from somebody else. Different style. That's how I can tell. Not gonna mock it. There's like I mentioned before, if you weren't watching, there's like about 5 different ways of wrapping bars. So what I'm going to try to do, since the bottom part here is less, or it has more thickness to it still, hasn't been compressed. So I'm going to try to flip it. It's not logoed, so I'm not worried about that. So I'm going to try to flip it so the more padding is going to be on the top part than on the bottom. That kind of thing. And hopefully the ultrasonic cleaner is not making too much interference for you guys. So pull this guy. So my head, since I did start working on these bikes at 7 a.m. this morning. My idea, and also 7 a.m. yesterday morning, that Fuji took a while because I had to do bike part swaps, so it kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. In any case, nor here nor there. In my mind, though, is in time efficiency, I was hoping to finish that tune, wrap the wings on this guy, double check his bike. I have another one. It's just been tuned, so I don't have to do too much to it. But he did a stem extender and the front brake cable actuated front brake. The housing was too short. Well, it became short because he heightened it by like 5 inches. So that being said, we're going to be rewrapping, putting a longer cable in the housing for the front brake, and then rewrapping the bar. But hopefully I only have to rewrap the one side. Okay. I was like, now I know why the tape looked weird on the finishing tape, because I didn't wrap it. I mean, I've done a lot of his bikes, so he had somebody wrap this, or he attempted it himself, and if he attempted it himself, he did a good job. But the finishing of it is different than mine. It's like back to that art form. It's like your little attention to detail. It's an art of how you wrap, and that goes back to my latest concept. I'm trying to make it clean and clear of a concept idea I'm working on. There's the good enough bike mechanic shop. It's mostly usually the service department. They do the tune-up that is good enough to accommodate the price that you paid. for the tune-up. And then you have other bike mechanics in shops. It's usually a shop thing where it's done right, and it's not done until it's done right. Maybe that's how I coined it. I was trying to figure out a phrase, and if you have a better phrase, throw it in the chat or the comment below if you're watching this and you want to contribute to the idea of the overachieving mechanic, which, you know, not nickeling the diming the customer. Like, I'll just do this with the concept of saying, yeah, I did this, this, and this. Obviously, you're going to note it. You should note it so they know, the customer knows what you did to the bike and what extra work you put into it. But on the flip side, you're like, as my dad used to say, on a lot of small jobs that, you know, a quick derailleur adjustment, air up the tire, or whatever, you go to the customer's like, oh, I'll charge you twice next time. Not that he's going to charge you twice next time, which one customer did think that, but that was a different individual and different in a lot of different ways. But that kind of concept, like, I'm hoping that you'd come back and have, you know, me do more service. I did these other attention to details to make your ride experience better, that kind of thing. So coming up with a good phrase that, you know, as a mechanic is the opposite of just good enough. What would that be? What's the phrase on that? So that'd be my what I want to see. Who has a better idea? Not the overachiever. That just seems like you're just being a jerk. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about this. It's just the philosophies of the service departments. And I've worked in all kinds. And there's some that are commission-based, fast as possible, good enough for the price that they're charging the customer. And then you have those who just really enjoy working on bikes, and I'd take the extra time to, like this. He didn't even know about the chain. I didn't get a chance to even check it or anything while I was here. But I'm like, oh, you're getting a new chain. But he's I mean, I would, for other customers that we don't have that relationship yet, I would contact him. It was like, hey, this is your chain's a little stretched and so forth. We can try to keep it going, but you're going to need one here soon without compromising the rest of your drivetrain. I don't need to do that with this individual because it'd be like, oh, okay. Oh, you need to replace the chain? That's fine. Because he knows when he brings it in, it's like I'm checking over everything. It's like, it's because I want him to have the best experience possible. It's like back in the day when we would do flat fixes, fix a flat, we check the brakes and the derailleurs. Because a lot of them were rim brakes, so you kind of had to make sure that everything was put together, back together correctly, and it's just right. So you are already kind of doing a quick mini tune on the brakes and derailleurs, or at least an inspection at best of doing that. So anyway, therefore, since I'm working on it, while it's here, get it taken care of, then instead of that customer going in, it's like, oh, I have the bars put on, and all of a sudden I have this other problem. Then they have to come back and have the other problem addressed. And in this case, I adjust it, and then he doesn't have to come back, which he has a better experience riding, which you're servicing your community better. And yeah, it means probably less work for you in the long run, but I think that gives you more work if they have multiple bikes, and especially if they ride with a lot of buddies. This guy has been challenging. You gotta channel lock it, get a grip on this. Oh, come on. There we go. Whew, there we go. Yeah, that was wedged. Oh, saving the tape. Okay. All right, I think we saved the tape. Yay! Now onto the wings. Oh, I got chain. So excuse my absence before I do that, because I am waxing the chain and dealing with chemicals Safety first. Got to put on some gloves. Ugh. Ready for your exam? I got another 5 years on mine, so I'm good. So yeah, turning 55, I was thinking about some funny little jokes about turning 55. Like, now I get up 5 times in the middle of the night to go pee. Aging out. My get up and go time is now 5 a.m. because I can't sleep in. But I was already that way anyway. So you're hearing me, but what I'm doing is, actually I can show you, walk back in the frame. This is the chain inside the simple green. I'm gonna put the simple green back in here, then I'm gonna hot wash, rinse out the chain itself. Then I put the rubbing alcohol in there and do the ultrasonic clean on that. What that is doing is like removing any of the cleaning chemicals off of it. And there's just several different ways of doing this. I'm sure Bill at Vital Bike Chains is probably saying, don't do that. Or he has his own process, but the end result is the same. Basically a clean, chain from the packing grease. That's the thing is, chain grease from any brand new chain is basically packing grease so it doesn't corrode. It's a mediocre, okay performance lube, but it doesn't do that great. So, if you get any lube that you buy from any bike shop, a drip lube or what have you, even if you're not waxing, you need to get that new grease off, because all you're doing is cross-contaminating that packing grease to whatever drip high performance lube the bike shop just sold you. So that doesn't work, and all of a sudden you don't have a high performance chain, you have a hot mess collecting dirt gunk chain. All right, rubbing alcohol, stage 1. So hopefully that makes sense as a chain cleaning sidebar. But yeah, that's where we're at. Okay, so wings. We have wings. First couple of these I did, I was like overthought it. But then again, you want to make sure you do it right. So you try to figure out the spacing, see if you're going to need to cut the ends off of these, because there's cut lines if you need to. These bars are wide enough, I'm not going to follow the match of the curve of the bar. And you don't want to fight it, so you want to put it where it naturally lays, and that's kind of how it's designed. And once you get that figured out, there's a double-sided sticky tape thing you have to adventure on. There's a whole bunch of warnings on there. What's it say? Read instructions prior installation. Best results. Wait at least 1 hour after installation before riding. Okay, it is 1 hour instead of 24 hours, but I'm not going to be jumping on this bike anytime soon. It was cold this morning. Winter finally showed up. Chilly. I had to drive my daughter to the bus stop. So, okay, what we're doing here. I don't know if I want to do this live. No, just kidding. So I'm going to mess up. Double-sided. So you want to take the first side, and this is kind of like that. It's tape. It's like this tape, but it's double-sided stickiness. And it is designed like it matches and mirrors the angle. So we have 2 pieces here and 1 long strip. So you want to put this tape in there first, following the angles. Nothing earth-shattering here. You follow the angles so it fits like this. And once you have it in there and pulled off, I wait till I get them all in there before I start peeling it back, because you'll then get sticky. Nobody wants to get sticky. Well, I don't know. Some people probably want to get sticky, but that's a whole different story. All right. So I got 2 on there. And then for the long one. It's not hard. It's just to do one or two of them. But it's one of those things, if you buy it for yourself, the likelihood of you doing it is once. So, slide that in there. And before I take the sticky stuff off, I'm going to pre-stage my tape, just like I'm doing the other tape. Thought I had more of this somewhere. Oh, I do have another roll. They give you so much of this. It's like, I've done like 3. This is probably one of his original ones, and I've done like 3 of these. Okay. I have no fingernails when there's gloves on. Weird, right? So I could use a knife to get underneath the tape start. Now all I'm doing is getting 2 strips of this so I can angle it in place so it holds its position. So if I was smart, I would have left a little pull tab. 1, so I need 4. Because I'm doing 2 on each side. You don't need these on the bottom part. Those are just like a regular bolt-on grip, really. Kind of clever. It's kind of comfy. I mean, I've test ride several bikes that have them on there, and they're comfy. It's not for everyone, though. But, see? I mean, how much more? This is what I've used several times already left. Then you use it for other things around the house. Tape up your kids' stuff so they can't get into it. That really freak them out. I'm a ornery dad. Dad jokes, and I like messing with my kids. Life's too short not to have fun, right? So now, once you can hear that sticking, this is the sticky stuff they're saying that needs an hour or 2 set. I gotta go push a button. The temperature wasn't up at snuff on this one, so I'm gonna put a little bit longer on the rubbing alcohol for the chain. And all I'm doing is pulling the backing off of the tape here without getting, it's really sticky, so it's kind of hard to do. Actually, having gloves on does help. And doing this, I just remembered that you want to do the top side first, if that makes sense. Like, you can see that side first versus the bottom side. Because the bottom side has more flex, so it's a little bit easier to get the corner of that tape. Less challenging? Oh, bad theory? The theory? Okay, yeah. That works. All right. So you got your pre-stickified bar. Oh, you want to make sure. Sorry about that. Get the right side. So this is like a one-shot deal. So you want to get it lined up on there. Right off the bat. Let's see. There we go. One shot deal, because once you pull it back, that's why you have like 2 extra mess ups you can adjust for. I try to get it lined up, and that's what these tapes are here for, so I can give them in place so they stay while when you rewrap the bar, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't shift on you. There's a Redshift shifting. Try not to get my finger stuck in there. So yeah. They are comfy. They convert, like, your standard aluminum frame bar tubing to be flared out like the newer style. So it's like that. And for professional, you wanted to match it, mirror it. Hey, right? Are you on time? Oh, this is taking a lot longer than I thought. Biscuits. Well, my main focus is to make sure, the other one definitely need to be done, but this is his personal ride. The Fuji is a backup bike, so that could have chilled out here for another week to a month probably. Not that I wanted to sit in my garage for that long, but it could have chilled for another time. This one, on a nice day when the snow's gone and all that. Right now he's riding his titanium gravel bike conversion that he did, which was pretty cool in this time of year. But it's a really nice day out and the paths are clean. This is his go-to bike. So this is probably the only time I'll see it unless there's something adversely gone wrong during the season. So that's why I'm like, oh, need a new chain. It's going to happen. Because this is the one he goes and hits the trails. Even though he has like 10 other bikes. And that's for him. And his wife has 3 or 4. And each kid has a couple of each style. Then he has a place in a different state where he has another stable of bikes. Then he has bikes that are for company and friends that come and visit. So he's one of those guys. And he just loves buying used bikes and having them fixed up and doing some cool stuff with them. It's awesome. All right. You guys stop talking. Guys got away from the keyboard? AFK? Away from keyboard? According to my daughter. Away from keyboard. Leave me alone. So yeah. So you basically repeat the same process on this other side. Making sure the sticky stuff stays in there. And you're able to delaminate the other side. And the ultrasonic cleaner just did finish. So I'll have to grab that here in a second. So I got to have that chain dry from the rubbing alcohol before I throw it in ultrasonic cleaner. Or no, I'm sorry, waxing it. Well, some people use ultrasonic cleaner to wax. Bill from Lithium, he has a small, Bill from, that's a different Bill. There's a different Bill of Lithium. Bill from Vital Bike Chains, he does have a small Viver ultrasonic, I think it's a Viver ultrasonic cleaner that he uses, and it's already heated up, ready to go. I didn't see that until I saw, what was it? It's a guy in Australia, what was it? Does the chain reviews and all that. So watching one of his videos of testing chains. I'm drawing a blank. And he's showing some footage. Actually, it was from ConneX and how somebody are doing their chains. And get in there, stay in there. They were using ultrasonic cleaners. So it was like, oh. First, I didn't know the ultrasonic cleaner got that hot. Apparently it does. Some of them do. To melt the wax. But you'd have to leave it in there. It's like you can't, they don't have removable tanks. Unless you did like a jars. Then you have to wait for the jar to heat up. It's a whole thing. Okay, so I'm going to stick this on. Mirror it to where it was on that. Starting with the brake hood spacing. And then file it over. So the most common contact is insane. Is you don't want that to feel weird, left hand versus right hand. To mirror it out. Then you get your installation tape or fixing tape. I don't know what you want to call this. Hearing tape. Several wraps that holds its place. And you know, these are big chunks of rubber, so they are reusable. Get that to slide up a little bit higher. There we go. Even though it doesn't tear, it doesn't stick very well. That's why I do like 3 layers, 4 layers, wraps. Get down there. All right. So that looks pretty darn close. There we go. It's all about being even, right? All right. I got to rinse, or not rinse, but take the, pour out the rubbing alcohol. That could be captured and reused, streamed. What I found with rubbing alcohol, it's weird. It's like everything that's the contaminants in there just settles to the bottom. Then you just pour off the top what you need to use, so you don't run through so much rubbing alcohol. All right, so this chain, right now the liquid on it is just rubbing alcohol, so it's going to evaporate. So I wipe off with a clean rag, clean, like super clean, and then you'll see some of the stuff possibly still rub off of the chain. So in theory, hopefully you got majority of that packing grease off that chain. And once it's off that chain, then you replenish it with your high performance lube, either a wax or a drip, whatever you want to use. Then it's ready to go for performance. And also checking the lateralness of the chain. This is the time that you would do it, is when it's this portion here, where it's completely clean for wax. Wax will bind it. And the reason I like ConneX chains in the sense that their links, the quick link that they use, is just, they call it the ConneX link, is reusable without a tool. So you don't need a tool to take it on and off, and it's reusable as advertised. So this way it makes it a little bit easier to wax. And this is his primary bike, so he gets the nice high-end stainless steel chain from ConneX. So once that's all wiped off, then I let it, usually I have a fan, I let it dry. Then I still use the 2-pot system on that. Reason being is the first one, if there's any leftover residue on there from the manufacturer grease or the cleaner or anything, it'll melt off on the higher temperature wax on the first pot, and let that sit in there and soak out, and hopefully it'll squish out whatever's in there. And then I use what I call a clean wax bucket, and that's where that goes in with a cooler temperature, and it kind of adheres to the metal plating a little bit better. There is some theories out on that. They're still debating, put it in a nicer way, of the process of wax, and I'm looking for direction. I'm actually looking for the measurements. So 95 millimeters to the tape line, keep electrical tape below this point. Okay, so 15 millimeters is 15 millimeter wrench, 15 millimeter spacing. What they're saying here is you got 95 millimeters to whatever point you measure here, and that's the widest tape to hold on the start of the wrap tape here. Then you wrap it around like you do traditionally. Now you can see this much of the bar you don't need to wrap. Therefore, the extra long tape is ridiculous because you don't need that much. You don't. This is actually less tape on your standard wrapping anyway when you measure that. That's if you're using these little guys. If you're not using these guys and you're only doing the top wings, yes, you'll need the longer tape to accommodate that extra length. This comes with its own little plugs. Not sure. Well, we'll see if we'll use these plugs or not. Because he had nicer plugs, the ones that threaded in, versus the press fit plugs. But these might then be the compression plugs. May not. They're designed to have material there, so this is what we're looking at. Actually, this would be this side, or actually this side goes in right here. That's how it rolls. So you put the tape on first, and this roll slides over. What I do is I put a little bit of rubbing alcohol on the inside here to give a little bit of slickness, so it slides over above the tape in itself. So I'm back to, hey, I'm done cleaning the chain, so I can take my gloves off, not feel like I'm a crazy lab rat in a bike shop in a service department. These gloves will save my butt for cleaning my hands. I don't have permanently stained, greased hands anymore, which is nice. Air that out. All right. Oh boy, where'd I put that tape? Finishing tape, where'd you go? Oh, it's right there. Okay, so. So the beginning of the year, so my friend Bill at Vital Bike Chains was like, I haven't even started looking into my goals for 2026. Well, I have preset goals of 2026 due to the fact that I've already discussed this earlier on earlier videos, that it's going to be a lot of service and more parts, refurbish, and frames than selling refurbished bikes, and less new products. Cost of new products, people are not really buying as much, and it puts us in a weird position as bike shop owners. Granted, I'm fortunate in that perspective. I don't do with a lot of new, so I'm not affected as much by costs of things going up, because I'm mostly trying to provide the cheaper alternative of new, or used. So I'm in the different genre for the most part, but I'm not affected by it, because customers have to buy new tires, tubes, chains, what have you. And that being said, we want to make sure we're doing our due diligence to having the right amount of inventory for the right price, and not put ourselves in a situation where we're inventory heavy and cash flow poor. So that's one of the many things that I'm focusing on. And as you get it, I'm in the social media realm, so working on better content, better videos, better subjects, working with other possible influencers or businesses, like in a sense of doing interviews at shops and giving them highlight features and that kind of thing. Just seeing what other cool things that people are doing out there. So there's a lot of different things I'd like to do, but obviously the paycheck has to start at some point. Can't do everything for free. Unfortunately not. Okay. So in my squirrel brain head, I'm going to use the tape on this side, because I want to reverse the tension on it. And starting from the tapered, this is, okay, starting with the tapered end of the 95 millimeters, which I still need a score on there. And start up here, then wrap it. And my angle cut's already there. So that's good to go. So I do need to do measurement on the 95 millimeters. Yay. Where's my ruler? Gotta find my Parks tool ruler. Do the ruling. So yeah, I've had some really cool bikes that came through the shop recently, and more to come. I have a Moots right over there. That's in for basically the front bearing needs to be replaced on the hub. And I check over, kind of like this. It's one of his primary bikes, although he just got that new titanium 22, so who knows how much he'll be. That's more of a gravel. No, that's a road Moots. More of the road Moots. So who knows what's going to happen, because he's going to have 2 titanium road bikes, and he's already told me he's going to start paring down on his bike. So what will happen? Well, yet to see. All right, was it this guy? Yep. All right, so I got my tape prepped, marked, set. Let's go. On the Redshift bars, FYI, they do already have mark lines on them, like the kitchen sink bar or whatever. I mean, it's not hard to score it and make it your own. Oh, and also need to make my little flappy flap. So this cut straight. They did the figure 8, and I'm not doing the figure 8. I'm doing the traditional. So set that there. Oh, it's nice having that table right here. That works. And you angle cut it. Reason you want to angle cut it is you don't have a bulge, and you don't want to be fighting with that grip as a bulge when you're installing it. So that's why you kind of work around that. And this, I'm going to put minor tension on it, not go crazy, because it's been used once. I'm going to try to give a little extra overlap on some of this, if I have the space, length. Reason being, gives you a little extra cush. It's like not a tush push, but a cush for your bars. Okay. So the space is very tight. This is short angle here, so. And you still want to I still want to keep the equal distance between each wrap. Oh, it's a little high. I need to bring it down. There you go. Hopefully this works. This brake snap, this tape snaps, and be like, crap. There eludes the other bike he brought in is the Bianchi, and it has the same tape. I'm like in my head, like, well, if this tape goes bad, I'll steal that tape, because it hasn't been used as much, knowing it hasn't been used as much. So, and you can see it's a lot wider here. So, trying to give it a good covering. So it doesn't flail apart from any distance, and added comfort. And hopefully have enough tape. Talking about having, oh, it's like way too much, too much tape. You don't need the longer tape. All of a sudden I'm short. That beat me. I had to eat my words on live stream. Wait, I didn't understand that. That didn't happen right. Nah, I think I got it. I think I can. So I think it's a good coverage. Looks good. Ooh. I don't think I could plan that even better if I tried. So, yeah, I usually do this from the back. Angle cut, vertical or horizontal to the bar, or vertical to the bar, vertical to the bar. So the pointy end's down. Oh, that's the longer one on this one. And now, hopefully I can get this to be clean looking. It's really at a weird angle. But it's going to look a lot cleaner. Ending anyway. The taping was good. The original taping was done right. I'm not going to say that. It's just different. But the finishing was definitely more of a, it's going to wrap it real quick. So either he did it himself or some mechanics would do that too. Yeah, it's experience. And you spend enough time doing this. But sometimes wrapping bars is like somebody mechanics nemesis. They're like, don't like it. All right, you think we're done? No, we're not done yet. That's why I made another one here. They said tape, and the tape is on here for a purpose to help the ramping of the grip over. So you want to get the tape to be partially over of the metal of the bar, and then proceed up so it slides up and over. So it doesn't catch on any of the bar or bar tape. And so 15 millimeters. There we go. 15 millimeters right there. So how that goes on, so take a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Because this is a bolt-on grip, so. Or, you can use rubbing alcohol too to put on grips, and once it evaporates, it's adhered, so you're not using hairspray. Or you can use hairspray. So, put a little bit on there. So hopefully, in theory, I can slide this on. And barely even see the line of the tape, and go up a little bit and back down, let it stretch down a little bit, and then there's your wing. An idea is when you're riding, this gives you an extra hand flat position to give it a little more comfort when you're in the drops, like so. And then just tighten it down. Clamped on there good. And boop. Bar unplugged to protect not impaling yourself. So that's what the wings look like on that. Oh, Mr. Frank, thank you. Yeah, that's right. You bought a couple ConneX. Hopefully those are working out for you. It's some good stuff. I mean, they're pricey, but it's kind of worth it to some, if not all, kind of deal. But yeah, they don't come on bikes. Like it's not a thing where they're coming out. But ConneX is made by Whippermann, and Whippermann is a chain company in Germany And that's all they make for the most part is chains. I mean, they branched off and did some other things, but mostly they're known for chains, and not just in the cycling industry, if I believe. It's multiple industries, so that's kind of a cool deal. Is the chain dry yet? Still a little damp. Give it a couple more minutes. All right, so since this is a pre-cut taper from a former shop, oh, they did it backwards. Weird. Well, I'm just going to clean it up. It goes underneath the grip anyway, so it's not going to be a noticeable thing, and also taped over, so not a visual eyesore by any means. Only I will know it's there. Only I will know the inner workings of the wrapping of the Redshift grip. All right. So yeah, so 2026, going back on that subject of goals and just trying to build more community and work on cool bikes. Get more people into riding, be more comfortable at riding what they have, or getting new, and more of the same, and try to help out those either in other shops or what have you. Try to be part of the solution and not part of the problem in a lot of things. And I've worked with some shops with insights like, hey, you may not want to do that right now, like expand or what have you, but I think some shops is going to be challenging, especially if they're not leveraging used products right now. And if they're not leveraging the used market, they're going to need to. And they're probably going to need some insights and help of making it efficient as possible, i.e. learning from somebody that's already done half the mistakes and finding out, telling the tale of what is the most effective process of doing it. Be able to turn a profit, because that's where basically my business model started. So being in the know. And the National Bicycling Association is saying only like 8% were utilizing used, independent bike dealers utilizing used currently. So there's a lot of room for a lot of shops to venture and become more profitable and be able to sustain and be more in tune with their communities and fill in those communities where the corporate has decided to escape or ditch, or however you want to say, buy the local shops up, realize they're not turning a profit, and closing them. That's big corporate. It's always going to be that way. They're in for a profit, so you can't totally blame that business model, because that's what their business model is. So I don't know if that's not long enough. So there eludes what we do. I keep setting my scissors down and not forget they need to be bright color too, apparently. And that's why my knife is orange, so I can see it when I need it. But if all your tools are bright, then you're looking at a techno rainbow tool wall. You won't be able to find anything because your retinas will be burned out. All right, that's nice and clean. I think we're having some success. And again, this is not hard, just time consuming. Just gotta take your steps, one step at a time. I've done several of these, so it's kind of just, I've done it. This is what we do. I watch the videos. Redshift does have videos, so you can watch what not to do, what to do. And there you go. All right. Rubbing alcohol. Try not to go blind. Squirt that much. Go up and down, up and down. There we go. Trying to get as smooth as transition from that grip. There's still going to be a bulge, but you want that to be minor. And he has a couple of these on his other bike, so I just need to get them on there. I'm pretty close to what he has before. I don't have a bike that has them on there right now in the shop, so he knows how to adjust these. I mean, he's a handy guy. I mean, not a problem with that. He just doesn't like wrapping bars. He's like, that's an art that's just lost on me. It's like, well, that's part of it, but these things they're tricky if you haven't done them. And once you've done them, they're not so tricky. All right. So that chain is dry. So I'm going to put it in the hotter temperature bath first. So if you're re-waxing, you're doing the hot re-wax, all you need to do, I mean, if you have a, let me roll back. It's suggested to have a 2-pot system for chains that are using for mountain bike or gravel because it may have more contaminants and dirt. If it's specifically just road, the suggestion is from Zero Friction. That's the channel. Zero Friction is you can just do 1 pot for the road chains. And what you're doing, you don't have to do the cleaning process if it's already been pre-waxed. So if you bought a bike chain from Bill at Vital Bike Chains, it's already been waxed. All you have to do is reheat the wax and dip it. And then let it sit in there for 10 minutes or whatever, agitate it periodically, and then hang it and let it dry and it's ready to go. The easier cheat way to do it, and it's not really a cheat, but it's, it's the easier way of doing it, is once you have a pre-waxed chain. That's what a lot of my customers do, is they have a pre-waxed chain, then they get the stuff from Silca, or I think Squirt makes another version. ConneX has their own version. It's a formulated wax liquid, which is not like a finish line wax. It's a different thing. It has to be like just wax, tungsten disulfide. Read up the description. This one's Silca Super Secret Chain Wax, uses tungsten disulfide. Not so secret, but it's emulsified with 10% water. And when that water evaporates, it's the exact same chemical compound that's on the hot wax. So you just refresh it with this. And there's a process. I do have videos in my library about that, to how to do that. It's a little bit different, but kind of the same. But you lube your chain after the ride. If it starts making noise, then you lube it. Usually about 300 to 500 miles when you start squeaking. You don't do it for every ride. So it's a completely different concept of your drip lubes versus the wax lubes. And you can keep refreshing it, whatever. Nothing replaces the hot submerging wax. But if you don't want to do that mess or anything, never have time for it, then you can just use this until you get a chance. Your local bike shop around you may already have that, or Bill has a service. You can send your current good wax, your good chain that still hasn't elongated, and then he can re-wax it for you and send it back. There's a fee for that. So anyway, there's some options for you. But the customer that came in and dropped off the Rivendell and also the Waterloo bike was like, I wax change just because of the mere fact it's clean. Not for the performance, not for the efficiency, just because it's clean, that kind of thing. So that needs to be in for a few minutes and do a little agitation there and put the chain back on that. While that is sitting there and waiting for it to be done, I need to pull the chain off of this guy and then start on the other bike. And hey, I am doing good on time. Hopefully the other bike is not as time consuming as this one. Also, this one has a fun little, carbon leaf kind of thing. So it's like, I didn't clamp this too tight. It's just enough to hold it in place. But it's kind of a suspension. Well, it is a little, kind of like the ISO coupler, or not coupler, but the ISO Trex. Specialized has their own It used to be, I don't know if they got rid of it. I don't think they make them anymore. It's called a Cobbler Gobbler, kind of Z design. And this is also the front suspension ish. He loves this bike. His wife has exact same model. So it's pretty cool stuff. But all right, got to swap bikes out. Hold on here. Or actually, I'm just gonna put it on this side as that chain's doing its thing while I proceed to the third bike of today. And this is a freak out moment. Need to identify freak out moments, don't I? Freak out moment is like, oh, I decided to put a stem extender on my daughter's bike because she's complaining about the height and is not compared to measure out to the other bikes she has as comfort. So I won't ride with you, Dad. So in his head, if he fixes the bike, she's gonna want to ride more with him. Hopefully, one would hope, but not always. Yes, one has kids. That's not always the solution. But you eliminate the tension sometimes. Sometimes they'll. So what's happened here? Hopefully you can see it. You see my hand. Oh my God. Okay. The rear brake is fine. It does kind of bind up a little bit against the front brake. And the shifter cables are okay. But here's the problem. This guy has such a drastic pull angle. So he's got all the measurements right that compares to his other one. He has, fancy tools to do so. But this one's just too short, and it's causing the brake to not work correctly, because when you tighten that down, it pulls the length of the house, and you can see that. It just like tugs at it. And what I'm going to do is, since it is a little bit higher, I'm going to put this brake cable for the rear behind it, so it has more of a flow. It's all about safety, because if you crash, you don't want that. So by doing that, I need to pull back this tape to the shifter. Oh, this is the one I did, because I can tell I have a little pointy thing. That's how I finish my tape. So. And you don't really reuse electrical tape. It's just, you just take it off. And if you're just joining, thank you for being a part of my community and watching. It makes this channel. All those, plug things. Any case. So, to take off old tape, and you want to have a prayer of a chance of reusing it, well, just make sure you bought another thing of tape. So if it doesn't work, you have another thing of bar tape to wrap on there. But if you want to try to reuse it, a lot of them have a sticky back to them or a tack. This one has a gel tack to it. Or no, this one has a sticky tack. So what I need to do is lightly tug this as I'm pulling it around. What it's doing is, at an angle, it's detaching itself from the overlap, hopefully, without pulling any of the side of this tape up. The older the tape, some tape, you put it on there and you unwrap it just after you need to rewrap it, it tears up. So you got to be careful. Some tape is just not reusable at all. What brand is that? I can't remember now. I had one in here before. It's like, whoa. Yeah, it's like, you better do it once right, or it's not going to be redone. Can't remember the brand. It wasn't like Cicelli or anything like that. It was like a different brand. And it had a backing sticky to it, like a tape that you peel off, and it's like super adhesive. And I don't think you really need the adhesiveness on there if you use enough tension on the tape itself, but a lot of them come with that. But the brand I just put on that other bike, the first one, the Fuji, that has like it's like a big roll of gel. And that gel is a hardened gel, and the gel has a tack to it. It's not sticky, but it has a tack to it. And with that tack, it keeps it in place too, so it'll prevent it from shifting around, not shifting. Okay, so we got that. We're getting close. Am I gonna get? Do I feel lucky? Do I feel lucky, punk? I'm a lucky punk. I have to pull this back so I can get to the housing. Okay, there's a splint. I could probably dig around my old toolbox and cut a shorter piece of housing, and it's like a adapter splint to it. Or you can use one of these, if the sizing's right, like a barrel cable housing, barrel adjuster thing. I don't think I have one over here, but you can use that as the splint to kind of elongate it, kind of thing. But I'm a professional. I'm not going to put a janky splint in there. This is not a mash tent situation. This is a let's do it right while it's here situation. So that's where we're on. I always fold down. There you go. I like to remove all the leftover tape underneath just in case it bulges up. And I've had one tape I came across where the back sticky was so bad that it adhered to the bar that you just had like these rounds of fuzz. You try chemicals, you tried all sorts of stuff. I got to a point I just used a torch and burned off the rest of it. Not the most professional thing, but got the job done. All right, gonna agitate that and let that in for a couple more minutes, and I'm gonna switch it over. All right, so this is exposed. I need to, if you heard me talking about cutting cables and housing, this is why you leave enough cable, a couple inches, so when you cut this, on the crimp part, it squishes those threads. Not that I need to reuse this, but I can use it. I'm not gonna be able to reuse it because it's too short, housing and the cable. But if you were going to reuse it, that's what you would do. So, and I'm also putting on double-sided paddles on this guy. All right, so there we go. All right. A little bit of cable and housing installation tour. Doing all sorts of weird little things today. Hopefully you like this content. Amy, let me know if this is kind of the thing you like hearing somebody work on a bike and talking about the little things he comes across as he's doing them. I mean, we do videos. Some of us do videos of that, and they're well scripted and edited and all that stuff. But it's kind of nice just to do it on the fly. Because, shooting a video is one thing. Spending 2 or 3 hours editing is another. And we're bike mechanics. We're not editors. Although we're pretending to be one on YouTube. So thinking how long I'm going to need longer. Kind of place that. Not much. Maybe 2 inches. All I really needed. Get it in there. Get 2 more inches. Maybe 2.5 inches. A little bit of extra for flex. Or not flex, but... So these always, when they cut them, have a burr. So you want to get a clean cut on both sides so you don't have a burr coming up. It's all about prepping the housing. So the cable, basically you're trying to get the cable not to rub up against anything except for the Teflon sleeve. Now the Teflon sleeve, you can lube and actually get a better quality. So there's less abrasion for the cable to roll up against is the best. Therefore you have better braking. You have better contact shifting. Also, if you have some brake issues, this reminds me, the brake issues on that Waterford, the older Waterford, the thing is like probably 80s, looking at it, maybe 90s. But it's the gravel touring style pivots, and it's the old cantilever system on there, and he said the braking's not that great. Well, they now have compressionless brake housing, so that's what I'm going to use on that to try to give more consistent braking or better braking. He has Paul brakes on his Rivendell, which is really nice U brakes, but U brakes are specific mount, and they don't retro on all their mounts without getting weird. Without making it weird. And I don't think you can get weird enough to get it to work. So talking about housing. There's different qualities of housing. You want it lined, of course. I've seen some really cheap stuff. What I'm doing here is I cut it clean, so I know the coiling of it comes out smooth. It's not intruding into the space where the cable is going to be. And now I'm filing it flat so it has a flush contact point to the mount or the sleeve that goes into. This one doesn't have any end caps on it because it's directly from the shifter to the brake, so it doesn't need an end cap because the end cap has it should have an internal sleeve on the end cap on that one. In any case, therefore it's going to be flush on the barrel adjuster or the internal fitting there, and you want it flush as possible so it doesn't bind or kink or rub up against that cable. So it's supposed to not to. So as I'm doing this, I'm flattening it out, and also there's a little bit of the nylon sleeve folded over. So what I do is I take a poker and flip it up. What that is doing is flaring it out over the field of the filed section. Then I take a clean razor blade halfway over, cut off that excess. And what that is giving you is a perfectly flush contact point for that housing to stop and that cable to not rub against anything on there. So I gotta do the other side. So there's a lot of tricks of the housing I've learned over the years, and this is one of them. We used to have a grinder at Lee's, and we just take this to the grinder and just like get it really flush real quick. Then you still had to do cleaning of that. But these are dry. They don't have anything in them. I always like to put Tri-Flow or a light lube inside. What that's doing is giving it a waterproof barrier in there and a little bit cleaner contact. So this guy's gonna have to need a new brake. So brake cable. So you just slide that out. And I only work with stainless steel cables that I stock because galvanized is fine, but they do eventually wear. They're a little bit thicker. This is stainless steel. It's also rolled, so it's a little bit smoother. So a little bit better, higher performance. Less friction. It's all about less friction on these. So you slide that in there. And also, you can put a drop of lube on the housing external going into the shifter because it slides into, you know, fill a notch in there. And sometimes some people put the housing covers on the end and shove it in there, and all of a sudden you have that stuck in there. So either you need to fight that with a needle nose pliers to try to get that out, or you just work with it and get that thing to slide back into where it was. It doesn't do any harm if it's done correctly or it's in there all right, but it'll cause a problem if it isn't. So with a hope and a prayer, I have enough housing now that it's not going to bind. So there we go. Look at that. Still a little bit, I always do mine a little extra on all housings that I cut for the front end. It might look a little bulkier up front. Reason being, just for reasons like this. So it gives the customer an adjustment range to adjust heights and so forth, because that may change in the course of owning the bike, also with age, and they don't have to replace it every time, like this scenario. So I go ahead and tighten my brake back up. I'm about ready to switch over that chain's been in there for a while, better switch it over. Multitasking. So if I luckily rolled it in there right, I don't have to touch it. Burn my little fingers. All right, at the cooler temperature, turn off one. There we go. Okay. So back to prepping here. Got my brakes semi-adjusted. I double check it after I do the wrap because this binding and putting in the corner, yeah, you're going to put the housing in the corner, and that might cause a little bit of a bindage there, which will cause a little bit of adjustment need for the brake. So there, ludes. Adjusting after you have wrapped the bar. Oh, cut that pretty long. So this guy, I start the tape on the bar itself, so it holds its position. Then I thumb force that housing into place, and then I wrap it at least 3 times, if not 4, so it holds secure. And then I make sure the angle is how I want that housing to lay inside here, so it's more forming, not over or under clean. And this tape is going to be underneath the wrapping of the tape, so we're good there. Like so. So nice, smooth bend. It's all housing. All these sharp corners and so forth with internal routing and anything like that will cause that cable, especially for shifting, to bind after a period of time, if not at all. That's why those triathlon bikes are horrible, because they have all, the bike is designed for aerodynamics and designed to go fast, that kind of thing. But in the sense that all those bends is like a saw at some point, and all of a sudden the shifting goes crap. So anyway, I didn't realize I really went over it on time today. You get bonus feature. Hopefully I'm not boring you guys to death. So, you're a Bianchi owner. Charles, thank you for joining in. What model and year is that beauty? Ultegra first V shifters, triple, 9-speed. My year guess is going to be like a 98 or 99. It is an 1.1 headset, so it's a little bit newer versus the 1-inch, which is good because you can get more variety of forks, I think. Doesn't look like there's a sleeve. Oh, there might be a sleeve in there. Oh, that is a 1-inch. So it is a 1-inch headset, head tube. So that's a 1-inch, but with a conversion sleeve and so forth. So you got a lot going on up here. That's aluminum frame. It's Alloro, Alloro model with an ultra. It's alloy with the Bianchi green. This was a fun. I did the tune-up on this one. It was a fun bike because it has that kind of an acetone looking clear coat. So when you get in the sun, it changes colors. It's real pretty. And if you're fond of the Bianchi green, what's that, Astral green? It's pretty cool. And the paint was in really good shape. So paint was in good shape. Yeah, this one tuned up really well. It's just, his daughter has another bike with more of the newer endurance positioning. And this is the Colorado bike, not the other bike where they live. And lo and behold, she didn't like it so much, so he's trying to retrofit or trying to do the adjustments on this guy so it's correct. Or comparable, so she has no excuse about fit anymore, but yeah, we know what all is going to happen. She just doesn't want to go ride, which happens, you know. Kids get busy with their lives and friends, what have you. When they are riding with you, enjoy the moment. Carpe diem. Do with my daughter. She's young. She just turned 10, so she's at the age now so that she enjoys doing things with us. And we enjoy to have her around. It goes both ways right now, but that may change or will change. So we are just trying to enjoy the moments that we can. All right. Alrighty. Cool, I did that right. So it's just a little bit. You can never get these to line up just exact. You're just shooting to be close and having enough tape left if you're rewrapping. And this tape is obviously, well, it was in a lot better shape than his bike because his bike has been used a lot more. So essentially the tape on this was pretty much still new condition. Even though, so you got to watch out for that sticky stuff. Sticky stuff will age and really tear up the bar tape when you pull it off. It likes to shed. So nice and clean. Finishing tape here. So I did cut that one pretty long. Maybe one more wrap just to, for good measure. Kind of feel like Bob Ross and wrapping tape right now. You a happy little place. There we go. Tuck you underneath there. And that doesn't look right. I gotta do the other side. Gotta make it look even. I'm not unwrapping it. I'm just gonna redo the finishing tape. Come on. I know you're underneath there. Oh. Just trim my fingernails. It makes it a little harder to do. Yeah, bike mechanics and fingernails. Fingernails are good to get, to pick at things and so forth, but the flip side of it is you always get gunk underneath your nail. So it's a win. It's not a win-win. So before pulling that all off, going to, yeah, you're like, champagne problems there. Yep. I'm gonna buy more tools this year. That's my goal. More tools. I like tools. Got plenty of bikes. Maybe something. I mean, it would have to be a very good year to get enough to afford a brand new bike, but one of these times, one of these moments. Okay. So just, I'm using a thinner tape. That's why I'm switching it over. And plus this older tape didn't look as pretty, even though I'm the one that wrapped it. Over time, it did something weird. So either I did it weird or they rewrapped it weird. No, that's definitely my finishing. So something happened. But that definitely looks correct. Even on both sides. Flush that. These little triangles that come off, I find them everywhere. They're gonna be in my office chair. They end up upstairs. They just get on my shoe. I drag them around the house, or they get on me. Like that. Still on me. There you go. All right. Roll the hood down. All righty. Brake feels a little tight, so I'm going to back it off a little bit by the cable, not the adjuster. The adjuster's all the way down all the way. So I'm trying to pair the brakes so they contact equally. That's good to go. All right. So that is that guy. All clean. Need to throw the pedals on, but while I do that, I'm gonna hang my freshly new chain wax to drip and to dry. All right, can you still see me over here? Nope. All right, let's move the camera back over in the corner. I'm surprised I have battery life still for this long. All right, so taking pedals off and putting on different ones. They wanted a two-sided pedal. So that was another pain point for her not to ride with her dad. So pedaling forward loosens, pedaling backwards tightens pedals. That's the easiest way I can tell you without getting too complicated of right and left. So pedaling forward, the pedals will loosen and unscrew out. Oh, my legs are sore from workout. And those are the Shimano clipless one side. So I got a nice pair of two sides over here. You guys can see me still? Hiding in the corner? Okay. Still getting used to this vertical. I'm streaming two, vertical and horizontal at the same time. And got to get your camera in the right spot so you can actually see me-ish. Can you see me? Or am I over too much? Oh, you can't really see me, can we? Ooh, there we go. That's if you guys are watching. I know you're listening and typing. Oh, dropped her. Oh, my legs. Yeah, it's definitely going to be an upper body workout today. All right. That chain seems a little dry too. Did I wax that one? Yeah. Okay. All right. So two-sided versus one-sided pedals. Easier to clip in. So she will be. We're trying to remove all the frustration barrier points of the bike. So when she goes rides, it's less the frustration for everyone. Needless to say. There we go. I'm going to wax this chain too. Re-wax it. I think that one was new when I did the bike. Well. Oh, yeah. Oh, you get it in the slots. There we go. Yeah, you're okay. Just need to be re-waxed. Then again, as much riding, hopefully she'll do more riding, but we don't know. So that's where we're at on that. Ooh, starting to dry up my throat. Doing some jibber jabbering. Ooh, that's still hot. The wax chain that I just touched. All righty. Yeah, he's coming this afternoon, so I have a little bit of time to fuss with the chains if need be after lunch, but I'm just gonna do these real quick. This is really dry. So do the two-stager on there. Yeah, this customer definitely converted over from having a preferred lube to having all the bike chains waxed just for sheer cleanliness. Cleanliness. Being clean. So, and since this one's been already waxed, I don't have to do the whole cleaning procedure. I just have to dip it. And honestly, once the wax is already up to temperature, this is just easier to do than trying to drip wax, because that drip wax just gets all over. I mean, it works. I just feel like I'm just wasting a whole bunch of it. So. There we go. Voila. All right, wax chains, cable route issue on this bike. The wings installed and rewrapped on the other bike. I will proceed to check the rest of the bikes out while they're in stand. ABCs, check the air, check the brakes, check the shifting, especially when the wax chain's on there, which inherently you're going to need to do anyway on that. And double check the bolts. Even though they weren't in for full tune-ups, you're still in the, I would say, the liability realm of making sure everything is tight, even if it's in your stand. And it's just a courtesy thing, like, might as well do it while it's here. Just, you know, safety bits. All right, sweet. Oh yeah, cable in. Ooh, that was blue. I'm gonna have to see if I have a blue one. Oh, I may not have any blue ones left. I'm gonna have to go with magenta. And if she doesn't like it, we'll switch them all out. Ran out of blue. But yeah, it's all good. All right, so I'm gonna have to peel out here in a couple seconds to go have lunch while the chains are finishing. But yeah, all good stuff. Great stuff. Awesome. Oh yeah, I forgot the feature. I have a, for my birthday, as my daughter, and they got me, oh, I'm gonna put that over here so make it look like I'm actually talking to you. Got me like a gimbal kind of thing. Stepping up my game. Oh, it's gadget, but AI face tracking stand. AI, oh, AI's got me now. From a Sarah, used to have a Sarah computer. So apparently this will follow me around. So I don't have to move find a good space for the camera and it'll just follow me around as I'm moving around. So especially if I walk out of frame, you guys can see what I'm doing. So Tuesday, Shop Talk Tuesday, we'll try this baby out. I might do a test one. Fingers are dirty. On my, I've been using my other channel, This Old Bike, as a tester for like live streams. So I'm using a platform right now. It's called StreamYard. And they are pretty good, but it is pricey. So I have to pay monthly subscription for that, pretty expensive. But they do have this, what we are watching right now, one's vertical, one's horizontal. But now YouTube just advertised or promoted or whatever. They said you now can do live streams on both. So I'm going to try that on the YouTube platform and see if I can, on the This Old Bike page, see if that works. And if it works, maybe I can take off beginning of the year. Got to look at my budget, right? I got to see what subscriptions I can cut out. Even though there's a lot of features on this, is what I do like, but on the back end of it, you know, $45 a month. That's like almost $600, 500 something, 500 some change a year. So whatever you can do, and you know, it's like I'm not making money off the actual live stream videos per se. I mean, it does add to the pot, but I'm not getting all the tips or whatever that you'll see in other channels, which I'm not asking you to. No, if you do, that's fine. That's great. It's awesome. Thank you. But it's not necessary, and I'm not expecting it. So therefore, have to justify it in different ways. Oh, Precision E-Bike. Hey, Josh. Thank you for chiming in, and thank you for the birthday wish. Yeah. Best wishes to your year too. We have to get together and do a video again. Go down to your shop and hang out and talk about the latest and the greatest, or just whatever. There's a lot to talk about in our industry, in our neck of the woods, and a lot of different things that are going on. So there's definitely not a shyness of things to do. and also talk about. So over the weekend, probably won't work on too much, but probably do some cleaning and straightening, do some little odds and ends. There's a couple bikes I want to finish off, which is one is the K2 Mach 3 or 3.0. I just need to get tires and wrap the bars on that. So that should be ready to be listed as a full bike to sell. And then I've been working on that Klein Adept Pro for months now. I finally got all the bits in, got some tires and brake pads, and now I just need to string it up and install those parts, and it's good to go to be listed, and final featured videos on that to be done. So I'll have a video content specifically on that bike. So I want to try to get those two done over the weekend, list some parts that I have cleaned and ready to go. And then there's another bike I want to start stripping and parts. It's usually a faster process, and actually two bikes. So because I want to, oh wait, there was a guy that was supposed to stop by at noon today. Yeah, another one. Another one dropped off at noon today. So 1, 2, 3, 4 bikes lined up for next week to be done for service, in addition to the other things I do. And then I have another Friday, next Friday I have another scheduled appointment to be dropped off. So I'm pretty booked. I mean, you know, pretty booked. So it's good. I'm loving it. It's great. And it's all good things. Can't complain. I'm not complaining. I'm very fortunate that I was able to find this niche initially to do, and taking this journey with, dragging you guys along with it. And on top of that, this niche has become more recession resistant-ish. To some level, so there's other ways to adapt and actually, work. So I'm very thankful on that part of it, and it seems to be continuing to go that direction. And I'll do more videos on those particular successes. So share. So if other shops are like, "Ooh, maybe we should take a look at that. Maybe this will work better in our shop. Maybe this will work for us too." All those things. It's one of those years is going to have to be, you have to be a lot smarter about everything you do, because everything's become a wee bit more challenging, and can continue to do so going forward. So there lose our scenario, but the sun is shining. It's going to warm up. I got 50-degree temperatures for the next 5 or 6 days in my neck of the woods. So I'm going to try to, I'm obviously going to be really pushing to do the 55 days of working out, turning 55. But I want to try more of those working out days of riding my bike. And that's really hard to really hope to do when it's January and February, our off season here in the States where I'm at specifically. But I am fortunate though, because in my neck of the woods, we do get nice days in the winter, and it's good enough just to put a couple layers on and go out and ride. And the sun is really the contributing factor of that, because it really burns off any snow that may have fell and keep everything dry. So in any case, that's where we're at. Woo! All right. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully it's less stress, less family, more riding. If you can ride in your neck of the woods, hopefully everything is positive in your direction, and hopefully your bikes are all ready to go. If your bikes are needing some love, this is the time of the year, because if you're going to take advantage of the bike shops in your neck of the woods discounting their tune-ups, you got two things going for you, if it's off season for you, of course. One is they're discounting the price, so it's a little bit cheaper. Second thing is those mechanics are not as busy as they are in season, so they're going to take a little more time to work on your bike and give you more attention to detail. So it moves from that good enough stage of work philosophy to, this is what I do and I enjoy doing it, therefore I have time now, I don't have a huge laundry list of bikes to do, and I'm going to give it the attention and love that it probably should have been done in the first place. But in any case, that's where we're at this time of year. So take advantage of those. And again, all of you, thank you for watching and being part of this adventure and being part of the community here at I Know a Guy Bicycles. And any case, please like, subscribe, share with your cycling community and clubs and so forth. You can, just, there's a share tab somewhere if you want to share a specific video or any of my content. It's fine. Just get me out there. It's great. And all those that support my channel in the sense of being a venture capitalistic person side of it, not a person side of it. Vital Bike Chains, 10% off of chains from him. We have Bicycle Wheel Warehouse, which we just upped the discount. My discount code is now 25% off of a wheel set. So if you're looking for a replacement wheel set, this is the time to do it. So check them out using my coupon code, which is in the description below. And also there's Metam Bikes and also Amazon. So if you use Amazon, go through my Amazon store, go shop, either see what I use and just continue from there. The cookie trail will actually, give me commissions on whatever you buy. So that helps me out. It helps you out. It's a win-win. So in any case, thanks for hanging out with me again in the garage. Have a wonderful weekend. And hey, 55 is actually looking pretty bright right now. I'm thumbs up. I feel pretty good, although I'm a little bit sore. In any case, thanks again. Hope you learned some stuff. Hope you enjoy hanging out. And until next time, have a wonderful day. I didn't realize I was going to talk that long. Woo. Surprised everything didn't go flatline. Oh. Put my crash wheels away.